Some people have been complaining that when they take a photo with the camera intent application, the photograph gets returned with the wrong orientation, offset normally by 90 degrees. But it works fine with me. Let me show you. Take a photo. Just call the standard Google application. Take a photo, accept it, and it goes back. Oh. Welcome to Mobile Application Tutorials. My name's Nigel. As we saw in the intro, there can be a problem with picture orientations with non-nexus devices, such as I was using a Samsung Note 4 phone, and when you take the photo, the orientation's wrong. So we're going to provide a fix to that for the camera intent tutorial series. Let's get started. So first thing I want to do is I'm going to create a new method here to do the actual orientation. And let's just call it rotate image. It's going to take a bitmap as an argument. Okay, one thing to note with these saved images is they will tend to have EXIF data, and part of that data will contain the orientation of the image, so we can use that information to do the orientation. So the first thing we want to do is to get the EXIF interface as such, create it. I'm just going to set it as null here, and now we're going to initialize the EXIF interface and pass it the file location. Now we've got to put this into a try-catch harness as such. Okay, now we've got that, we can actually get the orientation of the captured image. So that's going to be a value of an int, and I'll just call it orientation. And we can get it from the ExifInterface member we created by calling getAttributeInt. Then by passing it the tag orientation, and we can set a default value for this as well. And so this will give us the orientation. Right, the next step we need to do is to create a matrix. This will be what we use to actually do the orientation. And now we're going to check the orientation values for 90 and 180 degrees and rotate the matrix using those values. So we're passing a switch statement, and then here we're passing orientation. So first of all, we want to check the rotation for 90. So if the image does have a rotation of 90, we'll rotate it to that by calling setRotate, and just set it to 90 as such. Need to break that, and we want one other case to check for. And I want this for 180. And same again in the matrix, set rotate and enter 180. Break that. We might as well set a default here. Okay, now we've got matrix values with the correct rotations. We can feed that into our bitmap when we create a new bitmap with a new rotation as such. So if I just create a new bitmap, and let me call it rotated bitmap. And we're going to create a bitmap. First thing we want to do is we want to pass in the bitmap from the argument. And then we'll feed in the position values, 0, 0 for bottom and left. Then we'll pass in the top right corners by calling bitmap, get width, bitmap, get height. Now we want to pass in the matrix. And the final argument for filter, we want to set that as true, just in case the image does get expanded. We just want a cleaner output. As such, now we can feed that bitmap into our image view. So set image bitmap and pass in rotated bitmap. Okay, so that's our method implemented. We just need to call it. So if we go back into our on activity result, at the moment we called it set reduced image size. I just need to make a slight change to this method. So I want to set it up here. Let me make that private. I want to set up here so it returns a bitmap. And I'm going to comment out these two lines here. And underneath this, I just want to return the bitmap. Okay, and paste this line here, down here. And I just need to return the results of the decode file. As such, so I've got the new bitmap with the reduced size being returned here. Now I can just feed the results of this into our new rotate image bitmap here. So go back into on activity result. And we can just pass this as the argument to our rotate image. As such. Okay, let's try running this and see what we get. Application started, let's record that. Okay, take a photo. Just going to use the default Google camera. Let's take the photo. Accept it. And as you can see, we're now getting the right orientation. And finally, let's just debug the changes that we made in this method. So we'll just put a single breakpoint here and run the debug just so we can step through it and talk about the changes we made. So application started. Let me take a photo using default application. Accept that. We've now hit the breakpoint. So this is on the on activity result here. So the first thing we do is to create ExifInterface. Let me go to my debug. And now we actually initialize the ExifInterface with the location of where our file is inside a trap harness. Now we get the orientation of our image. And we create a matrix. It's going to be the method of what we use to rotate the image. And now we check the orientation and the switch. And so in this particular case, we need to rotate this image 90 degrees. So we call set rotate 90 degrees. And after it's called rotate, we then create a new bitmap that's also passed in the matrix here. So we can rotate the image, and the result is a new rotated image. And we then provide that to our image view. And let's keep on running. And as I can see here, I've got an image with the correct orientation. Okay, that's it for this tutorial. This is a simple tutorial, sort of in line with the level of difficulty for the camera intent tutorial. But the main thing is you won't see this problem on a Nexus device, but potentially other devices such as some Samsung devices, you can see an issue with rotation of the images. So this is a fix you could use to solve that problem. And that's it to the end of this tutorial. And remember, if you want to keep watching my tutorials and get notified of new tutorials and you haven't subscribed, don't forget to click that subscribe button that's just appeared below me. And if you want to follow me on social media, we have clickable accounts to Twitter, Facebook, Google+, and Pinterest. And directly above my Mac computer, you'll see a link to the website as well. And the website postings here, just to go into a little bit more detail of what we talked about here, we provide the normally provide the code in GitHub, and we go into explanations of the code changes as well. That's it for this one. Bye for now.